Hello, everybody. My name is Ben Helfon. I am a proud Road Recovery board member. And I just want to let you know I'm forced to say these words. So tonight with my dear friend, music artist, producer, philanthropist, and longtime Road Recovery supporter, Don Miggs, we will be hosting our very own version of Road Recovery Random Acts of Outreach, One Hand Revolution with Amber Valletta. She will discuss her journey from motherhood to model to actress to activist, with maybe a little bit of music by Don Miggs mixed in. But first, I wanted to share a little information about Road Recovery, why we're doing this, and what we do. So a couple minutes, and then we will get started. In this time of crisis and isolation during COVID-19, music celebrity supporters of the nonprofit Road Recovery are stepping up to create awareness and fundraising for the charity's Virtual Tracks program for at-risk youth battling addiction and other adversities. Since 1998, the music industry-driven charity, Road Recovery, has been dissolving and debunking the dated belief that sex, drugs, and rock and roll are cool. The charity has accomplished this by drawing upon the life experiences and talents of both internationally recognized artists and local musicians from who have been negatively impacted by addiction and or other challenges. Music industry professionals joined forces with at-risk youth at Road Recovery to create their own live concert events and recording projects, and now accomplish this virtually across New York State. All funds raised tonight will go to support the charity's cost for a full year of Cisco WebEx, the virtual platform Road Recovery depends on to facilitate all their virtual tracks programs and online events. We cannot express enough how important this platform is to us so we can reach out and get to our most vulnerable youth during this time when they need it most. To tell you more about the Virtual Tracks program, we have made this short video, and then I promise you we will get on with the main event.
On March 12, 2020, the COVID pandemic forced Road Recovery to shut down all of their youth tracks programs overnight. Worldwide technology immediately responded to our call for help and set up Cisco WebEx suites to stay connected with the youth through virtual tracks programs.
Road Recovery's action-driven Virtual Tracks program empowers young people to face their struggles and helps them to develop comprehensive life skills through peer support meetings. These check-ins provide staff the opportunity to see how each participant is doing in different aspects of their lives through the practice of good communication.
Kai is clearly expressing that some of his students feel anxiety coming into this big room.
I think the best thing for us to try to do is focus on as much positive as we can.
To get someone connected, if they're into hip hop or if they're into metal.
I'm a singer-songwriter from the Bronx, and with depression being one of my biggest adversities that I have to deal with, I find that really honing on my crafts, such as writing music or even drawing, has really put me in a place where I could feel like I could make it through.
Following the peer support meetings, detailed group discussions amongst the staff and the participants help for accomplishing set goals for their individual and collective creative projects.
Is this my face, or was it mass-produced for profit?
He liked our talking about the desert visuals.
The desert, and also later on the thunder. And
like I can make the desert look like nighttime.
When thunder booms, when lightning strikes, could that be the heroes and villains of the sky?
Together in these meetings, the staff and the youth collaborate in a positive way through creating, planning, and producing short videos that all involved get to share on their social media platforms each week.
Just move your body like a centipede while you jam to the music and do your thing. No need to worry, cause we all in this together. It can get no better. Come on, it can get no better. Come on. Bounce your body like a trampoline, cause we don't do drugs and we fresh and clean. When you come to me, it will be just right. Don't go sit tight and get your mind right.
Feel the rhythm, move your feet.
Road Recovery is also built upon a working partnership between each organization's staff and Road Recovery's entertainment industry professionals who each share their life experiences, knowledge, and resources with the teens and young adults enrolled. Road Recovery also partners with public and private schools, residential and treatment institutions, and community-based organizations and youth clubhouses, whose staff work with at-risk youth ages 13 to 25. Meeting them where they're at is what Road Recovery is all about. For some young people, coming together in a virtual space is fun. But for others, working in small online groups, one-on-one, or individually offline with staff they know and trust creates a safe environment. And by partnering with each hosting organization's staff, who provide multi-level adult support and supervision, Road Recovery's virtual tracks program is tailored to meet the needs and goals set by each organization or institution.
Ladies and gentlemen, Don Miggs and Amber Valletta.
I'm Don Miggs, and I welcome you to my first interview for Road Recovery. And this is Amber Valletta, and she was in a lot of traffic, and he's going to do that the whole time. So we welcome you guys coming. If you're watching on Facebook Live, please be sure to share this on your page so we can get to more people, because the goal of this is to raise money. Road Recovery has been doing a great job with the money they have, but they always could use more, and so your help is appreciated. So Amber Valletta, Amber and I know each other, and I asked and she said yes, and she could be regretting it ever since. But I knew I wanted to interview you when, and I think I told you this, I woke up and I wrote these words down. I woke up, I was like, Amber, mother, lover, activist, actress, sober, and singular. And I thought that for me, that seems like a pretty, it's inspiring and an aspiring 6 words. Do you think those 6 words accurately describe you at all?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look at yourself in that way. Perhaps some of them describe me. Maybe they're things that I aspire to be as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, mother, I am, no doubt.
Right. Is that number 1, by the way?
Those are big words, yeah.
Yeah?
Mothers, of course.
Yeah. I mean, I know that, like, when...
Actually, there's something before that first, which would be being sober.
Really?
So without that, I have nothing. And so that's first, because that's for me. Mm-hmm. And then mother, yeah.
Because for me, when I'm thinking about an order, mm-hmm. I guess... I don't know. Being sober, I guess my only addiction is chocolate, so it works out really well. But I can see that being a mother, there's nothing more rewarding. And probably, like I always say, the best time of day when they're young is when they wake up, and the second best time is when they go to bed. And in between there, you're sort of white-knuckling it, you know. But for you, when did you become a mother? How old were you when you became a mom?
My son was born when I was 26.
When you were 26. And so you have been, so at 15 you started.
I started modeling at 15.
Like everyone does, obviously. 15.
And I got discovered at 15. I left home at 17 and then went to Europe and started modeling, and I've had my first Vogue cover at 18, just barely 18, and life, a lot happened pretty young. So right. By the time I was 25, 1999 is when I got sober, and Autumn was born in 2000. But I was sober 9 months before I ever got pregnant.
Oh, so your son only knows
knows me sober.
Wow.
Which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah, I would imagine. Well, the thing I was thinking too, and I started writing down, I have a million things here, which I never do. I was saying, I host a radio show with Ben Swig, and for 3 hours, I literally write nothing down. I just talk. But there were so many things I really wanted to get to with you. But the fact that, first of all, you're 15, you start modeling. You get on the cover of Vogue at 18. Like, how do you not run off the rails, right? Is it almost impossible not to?
I mean, to be honest, without giving like my whole, story, I believe I was born an addict, and there's big precursors and behaviors that I can see very young that point to that, and it's also genetically in my family. So, I would say that set me up perfectly, and then you couple it with easy access and a lot of pressure and a lot of youth gone, without, I was young, I was immature, and I was supposed to act like an adult in an adult world, and a lot of pressure. And so I think there's a lot of factors there, but it certainly was a perfect storm.
So, but even forgetting that part of it, just the sober part, obviously how important that is, but just like, I can't imagine you're on the cover of Vogue, you leave home, and this is around what year?
So I left home in I graduated high school in 91. I was 17 in 91.
I mean, in the 90s, it must have been also amazing.
Oh my God, it was incredible.
Minus whatever, I don't know.
I mean, I got into a lot of trouble, but I had a lot of fun too. Right. I mean, the fashion industry, the entertainment industry, the film industry was completely different, like the music industry.
Right. And it was all connected, right?
It was all connected, and somewhat is still today. Right. But everybody is now, owned by conglomerates.
Right.
So it's gotten much more corporate, but initially everything was sort of family run or, an investor, and it was small. Everything was small. And so there was a lot more freedom and a lot of creativity. And I mean, we were having, great interactions there was all this mix of music and fashion and film, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
So you come as a model, and then are your best friends models? Like, is it like a movie? Like, is it like this little club? Especially because you were moving at a quick pace. It wasn't like, like I've done a really great job of rising to the middle, and you went straight to the top. And I mean, were they your best friend? Are they still your best friends, the models?
I have some friends that are models, and some of them are very well known. And, some we started at the same age, so we're like sisters.
Right.
There's some sort of camaraderie when you start really young and you're in an industry that is as kind of stressful in some ways. Fashion is pretty. It doesn't seem like it would be very stressful, but it is.
Yeah.
It's cutthroat. There's a lot of pressure, and so there is a sense of camaraderie and sisterhood, and we counted on each other. They become your family because you're traveling so much, and so there is a sense of need to be close to people, and even the people in the industry, the makeup and hair, the stylists, photographers, because those are the people you see day in and day out, and they know the stress that you're under, and they share the same, and some of them even more so because they're the creatives. They're the high creatives and creating the the fashion and stuff. So I think, it makes sense why birds of a feather flock together, right?
Is it still the same industry? You said it's different industry, but is the feeling still the same? Like when you go?
There's a lot of people I love in my industry, but I'm pretty down to earth. I don't really run around with a bunch of celebrities. I have some friends that are famous, obviously. I'm friendly with a lot of famous people, but I'm not it's not my thing. I don't run around in an entourage.
Right.
I don't like get papped out on the street with like so-and-so. It's not, I don't know. I don't really, my focus is in other places about, you know.
Is that with age, or has that always been who
No,
you've
it's
been?
more who I am. I think for me, fame has been a byproduct of what I've done, not what I tried to achieve.
But
if I could
how do
best
you know that
describe
it's at 15 or 16 or 17?
I just never wanted, it was never my goal to be famous. I wanted to be at the top of whatever I was doing. I'm highly competitive. In anything I do. I will, you know, if you said, let's play a game right now, I would play you to win.
Right.
I'm not going to, just because I love you, I'm not going to play you to let me lose. So, and I'm like that across the board. I want to win. I want to play hard. I want to challenge myself. I want to learn. I want to grow. So for me, that was always the goal, was the next thing.
Right.
Not so much of like, I need to be the most famous. I need to be, you know.
But you got to get caught up a little bit in like, when you're getting on a Vogue, if one of your friends got on the cover, you know, you're smiling saying, oh, that's great. But are you ever, I wonder if do you wonder, is that my last one?
Yeah, I mean, I think, I know I have insecurities. I know that there's been times where I've thought about, you know, am I going to work, like, is next season going to be strong for me? Am I going to get a bunch of work? But you're never competing against anybody, honestly. It's so subjective, and so there's no rhyme or reason why someone gets a job and you don't necessarily. It's like, it's a feeling. And I just can't, at this point in life, I've just sort of learned that, like, there's enough for everyone.
Right.
Even though it's sort of getting a little deeper, it doesn't seem like that at the moment because of COVID, and we're in such a crisis in the world in so many ways. But ultimately, when I really think about things, I'm always like, there's enough love, there's enough of everything I need I already have. And I try to come from that place to kind of catch myself.
But that seems,
my ego is not my amigo.
Right. Hey, look at that. All right. So when I obviously I did some research and I was looking at pictures, and I've seen you for 100 years now doing what you do, which is amazing.
Thank you.
And like what I say here is, you've done a really good job of being a positive role model for women and people wanting to be inspired. But what I'm fascinated by is, as I say, you're beautiful, but it never feels like you're leading with that. And so when I see, the thing I'm always drawn to in pictures of you is that it's this fierceness. There's like this commitment to the truth or something. And I have no patience for pretty girls. It's boring. You know, when it's like this, just look at me, do I look good, right? And then, but there's something about like, no, that's somebody who gives a shit, who doesn't care. Like, you're not going to knock her down. Like, she isn't going to go get, and this is not a knock on anyone doing any of this. She doesn't need to go and whatever the thing is with getting boobs done or whatever that is. Like, this is who she is. She's going to lead with that. And it feels like intuitively you knew that the way to grow older in this business was to be that woman as opposed to someone chasing youth. Like, does that make sense?
I mean, I thank you for saying that. It's actually, I don't know if it wasn't, it was definitely not on purpose. I never was like, let me think about this. It's just been, the only person I can be is me, and I don't know how to be anybody else. And I'm lucky that I got sober really young, and I have a really strong foundation of support, and I've learned to check myself constantly, and people keep me accountable in my community, and I have a really strong connection to my family, and we're a matriarchal family, and so there's a lot of strong women, and a lot of women I look up to, and you know, I'm just always determined to try to be better, and rather than, I'm just determined to try to be better as a person. And so I don't know if it's never been intentional really to not follow maybe the trend. It's just, who can I be in this moment and the best version of that, rather than try to be someone I'm not. So, but I did really like what you said about having some sort of purpose and truth. And that is something I feel like I always love when I see an image or actors or music. I feel something when you know there's something behind it.
Right.
You know that either there's a real emotion behind it, even if it's singular, like a love, it's a love song, right, or a film that's a documentary and there's a single purpose. I love that if I really feel that it's something authentic, there's a truth behind it, whatever that is, whatever that truth, that's what I find most attractive. So I love that you said that about me, because that's what, to me, one of the best compliments you could give me, is that you find an honesty and a truth in whatever I'm projecting, you know? And that, to me, is more important than you look hot.
Right.
Like,
well, you're not going for a moment. You're going for like your images will last forever, because everything seems iconic. Maybe it's iconic, but it's organic. Even when someone else is making you up. So I remember we were in Paris, Lisa and I, and we were in a hotel, and I think it was Chanel or something, and there you were, and it immediately felt like you were in the room. You know what I mean? Again, there's a certain thing, and that's beauty's boring, because there's so many beautiful people, right?
Yeah.
But I felt like that picture, we could have put that up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, or in 20 more years, and it'll still look like a picture that's relevant and sort of the moment.
That's great.
That's
awesome.
And I don't know, that's not the photographer. I'm sure they have something to do with it, or makeup or hair. That's like the soul coming through the picture, right? And I feel the same thing about music, which, and all of it. And that's when I'm speaking to people, especially young people, and they want to do music. I'm always saying you have to make a decision. And this is, maybe it could insult one or the other. So there are two artists. There's Lorde, and there's Carly Rae Jepsen, right? She did Call Me Maybe.
Yeah.
Great song. She's a great artist, by the way. Lorde never had a song as big as Call Me Maybe. But what Lorde did is she created a universe, and she created a world that people wanted to come into and join her gang. Carly created a moment, a very nice moment, and she can go back and tap into that for the rest of her life. But she'll always be the girl that did Call Me Maybe, right? You go from being a model to doing, and we'll talk more about it, film and TV, and you could have forever been the girl from House of Style on MTV. Do you know what I mean? Like, because you look at a lot of your contemporaries, they go and they do something like that, and they're always that. And they always have to look for that role, because they're pigeonholed into it, because they were so hungry for fame that they took whatever straw they could grab. And the one you get is the one you're stuck with. So if you're the Rolling Stones and your first big song is Satisfaction, you damn well better be happy with it, because that's a song they're going to be playing for the rest of your life.
It's true.
So you somehow grab the straw and you put it back. Like, who the hell does that? So you did House of Style. Like, how, right? Did you do that for,
I didn't even do it that long.
I didn't even know you did it.
No, we didn't do it that long. We were terrible, actually. Shalom and I were terrible. Oh, she probably was better than I was, but it was not, it was, it needed to be tweaked.
Was that a career choice? Were you thinking,
No.
I'm going to go and be this girl?
They were looking for, I think they were just looking for somebody to replace Cindy, because Cindy had stopped. And Shalom got the offer and was like, I can't do this alone. I need Amber. And so that's kind of how it happened.
And then did you hate it? Or did you?
I was not into it. How
old were you then?
I was too young, and it was really in the depth of my darkest days.
Okay.
So I was not ready. I was really active in my use. And I was not able to show up and be present.
Do you?
Today I could do it like no big deal.
Do you ever go back and watch any of that stuff?
I haven't. It's too. I should, but it's a little painful because I know a couple of them I showed up still.
Oh.
Yeah. Not
so you can't
clean.
You can't look back on some of that stuff and laugh. It's really more like, oh, it's just
no, because I feel a
funny.
sense of responsibility.
Right.
I mean, yeah, maybe I can look at it, but I would feel like, oh God,
Right.
I can't believe I did that.
Also, you seem to be someone who wakes up and thinks about what's going on today. Like yesterday doesn't really, I don't know if it doesn't appeal to you, but I don't get that feeling from you. It doesn't seem like you carry any of that.
Well, I think that would, I mean, I wish that was true. I don't.
I even mean you don't even carry like all your success. It's like you sort of just, you live with all of it. I'm not saying you deny any. You live with it, but you don't lead with it. Like when you come in, there are people I meet, and you can tell by the way they walk in that, I don't know, they were in Scarface or whatever the thing is. Like, you know right away, and they don't have to say a word.
Right.
You would have to tell me what you've done because you don't walk in that way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I would rather come in and be inconspicuous and be, just seen as a person and be able to be liked or not liked based on that rather than on something, coming in and trying to get something or trying to grab your attention or trying to, come in with some attitude.
Right.
I don't know. I've learned more and, the older I've gotten, the more I understand you just don't know what people have been through.
Right.
You don't know who people really are.
Right.
And yeah, we can get a quick read. You get that gut reaction. You see someone on the street that kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies or whatever.
Right.
But in general, like really, we don't know what people have been through. We don't know what they come in with. And so I don't want to come in also carrying a bunch of stuff, but I also want to come in as neutral as I can so that I can be receptive to someone else too.
Right. How would you rate your younger self?
I was a good person. I just was really naive, and I made a lot of mistakes because I was lacking in humility, I think, in some way, and not in the way of like, it's more just like sort of dumb.
Right.
Like,
were you good at your job?
I was great at my job. Yeah. I just feel like there was a part of me that like I didn't bother to ask like questions to some of these incredible legendary photographers or people that I was working with so that I could learn something really great. Like I was so naive, I would just, say hi to them and, chat with them for a second. But instead of like, I could have sat Richard Avedon down and picked his brain. And I was too young to understand the weight of the situation.
Do you do that now? If you have a great photographer?
Yeah, I might just sit and talk to them about books they like, or, but before, or just listen, like really listen to them. Even if I don't pick their brain, I just listen and observe much more. But I didn't really understand. I was kind of scared and didn't understand. And I don't blame, I have much more love for myself than I would say regret or anger, because I was just a kid.
Right.
It's like, how can I be mad at that when I was a kid?
And
like if I was still acting like that now, or being obnoxious and never giving anybody a chance to talk, or coming in fucked up, or whatever it is, today at 46, then I'd be like, yo,
what
you
used
need to feel,
cute isn't funny anymore,
you need to like, I'd kick my own ass.
Right.
But like, I have a lot of compassion for that girl, because like, I left home at 17 with nothing. I mean, I didn't come from any sort of higher education. My parents weren't had no higher education. We didn't come from money. It was, I didn't know which fork was spoon, or, I didn't know any of that. I was just, oh my God, there's 10 spoons on 10 forks on the table in Europe. I didn't know what the hell was going on.
But that must have also been just, I guess there's a part of that probably also makes you, if you're nervous, then you're going to drink more because you're like, I don't know how I'm supposed to act.
Yeah.
Just real quick. So this is Road Recovery. You can see it's Amber Valletta. Our job here is to raise money, and we're raising money for the younger version of Amber. Like when it would have been nice, maybe, if she was 16, 17, 18, if she had someone that she could reach out to that knew the trade she wanted to be in, understood the world a little bit. What we do is there's always mentors. So we've, Mick Fleetwood or whoever comes in and talks with the kids, and it's pretty amazing. And then they get a chance to sort of do exactly what you said you wish you would have done more of, and learn from people like you. And the nice thing is, if your path is that you get to make the mistakes and you're strong enough to be able to endure it, you can help the kids, the younger ones.
That's right.
So, and it's certainly not easy. So from there, so I wrote down these things, right? I said mother, lover, and then I said actress is in there somewhere.
Mother lover.
Mother lover. So then you start acting. Do you enjoy acting?
Yeah, I mean, I acted actually before I ever modeled. I was growing up, my cousins and I constantly wrote plays and performed. I mean, I was a ham from very early on. I saw a camera and I was like...
Right. Which is honestly strange to me because oh my God, I'm going to put myself in trouble now.
Okay.
You don't suffer fools. It's obvious. And it takes you a minute. When you meet you're like, oh no, she's not going to like me. Right? You take a minute. You're extremely warm, but you start very guarded. And I guess that's from just being, and it's funny because you're an open person, but the initial feeling is sort of like you listen a lot, you assess a situation, you're like, what the hell's going on? What's everybody's motivation? And then when you figure that out, then you're like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to feel a sense of safety before I'm gonna, because I am very sensitive. Like Teddy will tell you, I'm so sensitive, and I have to feel safe, or I can't.
Right.
And so it does take me a minute, and I don't want to prejudge. So I want to listen and make sure I've got an opening. I'm also just not that kind of person who's going to come in and try and take up the space.
Right.
And, like, hey, everybody, look at me.
Again, like you don't trade on.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to I'd rather be more reserved and quiet and polite to you and nice, but I'm not going to, try to, I don't know.
Yeah.
Make something. It's just, I'm kind of just feel it out and let it happen.
You also don't mind saying your piece, though. It's funny because if I say something, you don't mind being like, well, no, I don't agree with that at all, or whatever it is.
But that's because I trust you.
Yeah, but it's also
I would never do. I don't know if I would do that just to anybody. I do keep my mouth shut quite a bit, but I would not. I wouldn't come out and offend you. I hope.
Well, I hope I don't offend you, because I sometimes say things and I'm done. I'm like, I don't know. I'd probably just offend you. I'm going to switch gears.
Okay.
You said motherhood.
Yeah.
You have a son, and you and Teddy, your partner. There are two young women living in the house with you.
His two daughters.
I'm wondering about your parenting style. Are you lenient? Are you strict? What kind of parent are you? First of all, you were 26, right? So those first 10 years, because our head's kind of up our ass until we're in our 30s, and then in our 40s we really figured out.
Yeah.
So those first 10 years, you're married all that time? Were you guys always together? And was he with you traveling, your son?
I wasn't modeling really then. I stopped modeling and started acting, and I had just I was pregnant with Auden when What Lies Beneath came out, and then Auden was 3 or 4 when I filmed Hitch, and he came to New York and was with me in New York when I filmed Hitch, and when I remember when I did the press tour, that was so much fun. They came with me for that. And
was that the biggest press tour?
That was, yeah. They had their own massive, 747 or something. with Hitch written on it. I mean, they went around the world, and I got to go on the European leg, which was really cool, and bring my son and ex-husband, and then I did a couple films back to back. But Auden was always there was like a 2 week. I had it like no more than 2 weeks away. They would either come to me or I'd go to them.
Are you guys buddies?
Am I with my ex?
No, with your son.
Oh, no, my son is my son,
Yeah.
but he's 19 and he's almost 20 actually. He's, the primary relationship is mother-son.
Yeah. We
We are friends too. We're very close, but I don't want him to ever forget
That's
that
right.
I'm his mother.
I say it all the time to my kids.
He's 6'6", 190 pounds. He's it's like talking to like a man. I'm like, can you please clean? He doesn't live with me, but it's like, can you please do whatever I'm asking?
Does he come to you, or do you have a relationship where he comes to you for advice? And are you open about obviously you're talking about your past here, so.
Oh yeah. Auden's been giving me cake for sober birthdays since he was a baby. He knows a lot about it. He's been with me to AA meetings. He really likes them. He's, he totally respects that, and he's not into any of that, any partying or anything. But he knows he has an open door with me. He talks to me about a lot, but he's a really good kid. He's not really like he's not a complicated like I'm so blessed. I don't have
that whole stress.
I don't have that whole stress. So we get to just have more like cool discussions.
Yeah.
And,
does he ask you
he's
questions
had
about
some stuff.
does he ask you even about the good stuff? Like,
oh yeah,
Mom, the coolest person you've ever met and all that. Like, does he care about that stuff?
Yeah, somewhat, or it'll come up in conversation. I'm like, oh, I met so and so, and he's like, I tell them that they said this or whatever, and he's like, to him, I'm not that cool.
Yeah, of course.
So, I
Doesn't
told him I
matter.
met Brad Pitt and told him what I did, and I did make a pretty big ass of myself. So,
Are you a Brad Pitt fan?
Teddy and I both are huge Brad
So
Pitt.
am I, by the way.
We all love Brad.
Yeah.
And I made the biggest fool of myself. Brad, if you ever see this video, I'm so sorry.
Can you tell us what you did?
Give me another chance.
Just one more chance.
Just one more chance.
And if not her, me. I mean, I'll
Give us a whole
switch teams for him. So, my God, him in the
Oh my God.
Hollywood, whatever the.
He's so cute.
Oh my God.
We this is like, I totally digress. Sorry, Auden, but this is all about Brad for a second. We got invited. No, we were going to be in town for the Oscars. I didn't want to go out, but Teddy was like, really, we got to. He's going to win this year. And I was like, fine. So we went to a couple parties, and the first one we saw him at, we just stared at him. We were like this weirdo couple just like staring.
And her partner Teddy is big and he's beautiful himself, and he's French, and I only understand every 4 words that he says. But I can just picture him just staring at him.
He kept it together very well.
Okay.
We looked sharp that night. It was my birthday, by the way.
Okay.
February 9th. The night of the Oscars. And I was like, should we go up and talk to him now? And he's like, no, let's wait till the next party. Because the next party, there's no phones allowed. It's very, very, selective party.
And he's not alone at any point anyway.
No. He's with his people and all that. Well, we see him at the next party, which was the party that Teddy was very clear that when we could talk. And we had kind of a game plan. I'm always like the lure, the fishing lure.
Got it.
And that's how we reel him in. That's how Teddy uses me.
Okay.
And I even had on a dress that was very much like a lure. It was like a metallic leopard chainmail dress, very slinky. So it was, we were hoping to.
You were working.
We were working him in. And I knew his manager, which I didn't realize that she was his manager, but I knew her. So I started talking to her, and I was like, I'd really like to meet Brad. She was like, Brad, and he was walking down some stairs, and he turns with all the gold light,
Right, and the world stopped.
The world stopped. And Teddy had gotten blocked by a friend of ours and her husband, and he couldn't get over there. And I didn't have time. I was so wrapped up with Brad coming near me. I didn't have time to grab Teddy,
Instead, you were kicking.
Just say to the
Teddy.
people, like, stop and pull him. And he comes up the stair, and I'm like, I'm so befuddled that I'm like, my name is Amber, and it's my birthday. And he's like, he takes my hand, and he's like, excuse me? And I said, my name is Amber, and it's my birthday. And he goes, he's like, with both my hands, he's like, happy birthday, Amber. And then he just turns and walks off.
He's like, what do you want
He's just like, nice for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like, how nice for you. And then right then Teddy comes up and he's like, where's Brad? And I'm like, he left? And he's like, what happened? What did you say? And I'm like,
oh my God.
I totally messed it up. He even gave me, I think he knew I screwed up and he gave me an opportunity to fix
make it up, and you didn't. You repeated
I
yourself.
couldn't say anything. I heard myself trying to figure out something else to say, and I couldn't get anything out except, my name is Amber, and it's my birthday.
Well, so he's your guy.
Well, Teddy's my guy.
I know. No, by the way.
Brad is we love Brad.
Right. So, I don't have a problem with anybody, usually. I've been with Barack Obama a few times, and I feel very proud that I was always like,
You could talk.
Yeah, I said to him, we had my Jasper was 1 or 2, rather 1, and I said, Barack, do me a favor, fake a sneeze. Because Jasper had this ability, he would remember your name, and he'd say your name, and he'd say, bless you. So so Barack goes, oh. He does a whole long thing, Hachoo. And Jasper goes, bless you, Obama. He turns his head around. So, I don't have any problem. But that same night, Eddie Vedder is there.
Eddie Vedder's pretty awesome.
And I love Eddie.
I know, he's amazing.
And I have since become friendly with Eddie. But that night, Eddie comes into my studio, and we're sharing guitars and stories. And I'm so, not even nervous, just like, I can't believe this is actually kind of happening.
Yeah, he's kind of
because I'm a schmuck from Long Island, right? And he's like, oh my God, I can't believe you have this. And he goes, Don, what kind of music do you play? And I go, and by the way, I can't even really repeat what I said because my wife is saying don't. I said a word I've never said before or after, referring to the music. I have no idea how this came out. It was so offensive to me. Another word for wimpy is what I called my music. And it came out of my mouth, and I have never, ever said the word. And he looked at me like, oh, I'm sure it's good. But he looked at me like his head was spinning like, we've just had an incredible time. And what
that's
did
where
you
you
just
go.
say? It was so unbelievable. And I couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks, and I didn't tell my wife or anyone what I had said. And finally one day I did. I'm like, I just don't know what's going to happen. So every time I see him, it's like I'm trying to make up for that time.
God.
And it's worked out okay. But I don't have that feeling, but I think Brad would be someone I'd be like that with. So that's your redo.
It also is like one of those things. We built it up for like 2 weeks and talked about it. And Teddy was like, it's going to be your birthday. It's your birthday present. This whole thing. And because I think he had put that in my brain,
right,
I couldn't get anything else out of my mouth.
Right.
And also I think I was hopeful that maybe he was going to give me like a birthday kiss on the cheek or something.
I mean, yeah.
I was going to, sunshine.
We were with another person who's pretty famous, and he would have given you a birthday kiss. I don't want to say his name.
No.
But unbelievable. I have seen the power of I could appreciate your power that night with a friend of ours who was so smitten with her. It was unbelievable. And he even asked me, he said, is she married? And I said, well, that big, beautiful guy, that's her partner. And he goes, but is she married? So, and
that's funny.
So, switching some gears here.
Yeah.
I was thinking this morning, today is undoubtedly the greatest time to be alive. We are living in the greatest time to be alive, and there's still so much pain and crap going on. There's Corona, there's Black Lives Matter, there's fake news, what goes on at Road Recovery. They need to raise money. Like it's overwhelming. There's like everything's worthy of like our attention. So you have so many sides, and one of them is you're an activist. So does that come out of a need to want to help a million things? Or are you about one thing? Like, it seems like that's what your life, your legacy you're leaving behind is that woman.
I hope so. I mean, the more I've been doing, you know, kind of work, I wouldn't call myself an activist.
No?
Well, activist is like pretty serious. It's like
you did get
I got arrested
with Jane Fonda.
I got arrested a couple times,
right.
But
that seems serious to me when you say I got arrested and then you say I'm not really an activist. You know.
I don't know. There's, you know, I would look at, you know, MLK as an activist. I would look at even Nelson Mandela as an activist.
Right.
Jane as an activist. And those people put their lives on the line, and
but you
it
put
doesn't
your voice,
really. It
but
doesn't.
You put your voice on the line.
I do, and to be honest, it really doesn't matter. I'm kind of at the moment not really focused on what titles and what people call me. All I know is that yes, my passion and what I hope is my legacy is the positive, you know, work that I do. And to me, what I care most about is social justice and environmental justice, and the two are completely they intersect completely. Mm-hmm. And you can't have one without the other.
Right.
There is no social justice without environmental justice. There's no environmental justice without social justice. And so, you know, it is, you know, I put the environment kind of at the top of my list because if we don't have a healthy planet, all of these other issues that we're talking about just don't matter.
Right.
They just don't matter because we will be, you know, everything that is happening right now, COVID, Black Lives Matter, they're both two very big issues that are indicative of kind of what we've been doing. What mm-hmm. was the normal was kind of, you know, why we are where we are right now. Right. And we can't go back to normal. Normal has to be something new.
Right.
And in my opinion. And I just think that to me today, there is no room to be complacent and we all, whether you have a platform or a voice, you do have a voice, even if it's just within the four walls of your home, mm-hmm. your family, your friends, your community, like what you're doing, what you guys are doing out there. Everybody has an opportunity and an obligation to each other and responsibility to do as much as they can for the planet and for people around them. We can't live in all this like discrepancies of massive amounts of wealth and massive amounts of poverty. We have to even out the playing field because we can see we're not winning.
Right.
We can't a few people don't get to win. It's not fair. So
is this a conversation you have? I know it's part of who you are. So is it a conversation? Do you have this conversation at dinner parties? Do you try not to try not to say it, or is it something, you know, there's some people who can't not?
It depends. I feel like I don't want to be that kind of person who makes things black and white. I feel like there has to be some diplomacy. I also feel like you have to be willing to listen to the other side. I also don't feel like every time and place is the right time and place.
Right.
You can't bring this kind of subject up at a dinner party when you've got deaf ears.
Right.
And
if someone's 75 years old, right. And if someone's 75 years old, we're not going to change them.
No, but no, you're certainly not. And, you know, but what you can do is show through loving action. Continue showing through loving action. You know, we have a situation in my family right now where there's a person that he is not well liked. He is, you know, a racist. He's difficult. He's older. he's not actually blood relative. And instead of, people could literally kick him out and turn their backs on him, there are people in my family who've shown him great love and kindness and compassion because they're determined, not because it's necessarily, I'm sure they'd all like to read him a new one,
Right.
but because he's a human being. And it has to start somewhere.
Right.
We're not going to teach this person a new code of ethics and how to behave. But the bare minimum is this kindness. I mean, God bless. My mom is way more patient than I am.
Right. Yeah, I struggle
But-
sometimes, but I've gotten a little better as I get older to be like, my job is to live the truth and live what I think is the right thing.
It is.
And help you if I can, but if you're not willing to listen, maybe it's better if I turn my head as opposed to like get into it.
It is, but when you have a platform where you have a lot of people listening like I do, I don't believe that I can sit and just sit on the sidelines.
Right.
I understand people are like, well, you guys are famous celebrities. Nobody wants to hear your opinion. And it's like, okay, that's fine. But there's a lot of people who, want to know what lipstick I use and this and that. So you know what? I'm going to tell them to use a clean lipstick that's with compostable packaging or,
Right.
I try not to browbeat anything that I believe in into anybody. But I do feel it would be irresponsible of me not to say and speak out about things that I think that are going on that need to change or
Right.
that I believe in. I think it would be foolish.
Yeah, I agree. Well, the thing is also, back to just you and I
But
know
we have to listen too. That's
Yeah.
the other part of it.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You also get a level of respect because, you've seen people come and go in your industry, and it feels like you're not near the end unless you want to be, which is a really crazy thing when you think about it. Like, I feel in my business it's the same thing. I work with someone who's 15 or 19, and you're thinking, oh my God. And then I still, because I'm competitive, think I can run circles around that person. Right? So you get the respect of maybe you get to be heard a little bit more because it's like, well, she's done something right. She's figured out how to get through all this thing. But do you still find that when you started, we were still even, women didn't get the same voice. Now the voice, you're getting heard more and more. Have you seen that whole shift, and do you feel that shift? Like you're a businesswoman, and maybe in the 90s you wouldn't have been as much of a businesswoman, or you wouldn't have been as respected as much.
Right.
So does that come with the respect you're getting now and all that? Does that come because of the years, or it's just who you are? Like I'm not even wording it right. I'm still struggling with how you get to have all of those years. You get to then go in, you get to be outspoken, you're a businesswoman, all that. And I haven't seen backlash. I haven't seen where you've had like a downturn because, she's a woman, she's talking too much or whatever those things are. Like you've had it, I don't know if it's been easy, but I haven't seen you get knocked down like a lot of people. And my question really is, long story short, how does that happen? Does it just happen? Did it just happen?
No, I don't. I mean, I would say that I've had my own personal knockdowns. If anybody is knocking me down, it's
you.
It's me. I've struggled a lot in trying to find happiness and trying to find my own truth and how to take care of myself and boundaries and I came from not only being an addict but also being a people pleaser, and that comes with a lot of BS that isn't necessarily healthy, like kind of trying to control everything and control everyone and making sure everything's okay so I can feel safe, and at the same time trying to please everybody.
Right.
And I think that I've been my own worst enemy at times. As far as, there are plenty of people I'm sure who do not like me, who probably think I'm annoying, who, I don't know.
But you still get called.
I still get
You
called.
still get a lot of
Oh yeah,
calls.
I still, for work. Listen, work is, I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky. I think part of it is, like you said, there's something, maybe people are more interested now, yes, in somewhat of how I look, but they're interested in what I stand for.
Right.
And I think I have been getting hired more and more because of that. There has been a lot more opportunities because it matters to more people in the world today that companies are doing the right thing, or that they're authentic, or that they're maybe trying to change their values and have someone speak to their values.
And so you decide what you're going to do based on that. So would you consider a role model someone like Jane Fonda?
Oh God, yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
To me, she's still
so many,
beautiful, and she's still full of life.
There's so many women I look up to. There's so many people, young people doing amazing things right now. There's so many amazing people, with especially the Black Lives Movement happening, and all of these kind of big social change movements in the trans and queer lives. There's so much going on in environmental work. There's so many people behind the scenes that are doing so many great things.
It's exciting.
It's so
exciting.
exciting.
And I know that there's a lot of pain, like we said, but there's a lot of excitement.
There is a lot. I think we have a lot to look forward to.
We're going to have to end soon, so I'm going to do a couple quick questions. I want you to answer these if you can.
Okay.
My favorite person is, this is you saying it.
My favorite person is, I can't answer, it would be my son.
All right. Yeah.
Teddy?
Yeah.
And my mom.
Okay, then that's good.
It's so hard.
If you could live anywhere, because you've been everywhere.
If I could live anywhere, where I live right now.
I love that. You're going to have a dinner party. 3 people you can take, famous, those, history, whatever. Are there 3 people you would love to sit down? Well, Brad is there because you need a redo with Brad. Who are the other 2 getting to the table?
Brad, Gandhi, and Nelson Mandela.
That's
all guys.
There you go. All right. If I don't have blank, I'm not a happy camper. Is there something you
Water.
have? Water. Okay. The person you would most like to be like is?
My 100-year-old self.
Your favorite model is?
Christy Charlington.
All right. You will never see me
spit.
Okay. And the last one, in 20 years, you will be?
In 20 years, I will be, a grandma.
Will you be? You think so?
I hope so.
All right. Will you still be modeling?
Maybe. Probably.
You'll probably own a business or sell.
I think I'll have a business. I'll have a business.
Is there a day you want
to?
Do you think there's a day you're going to hang up the modeling?
No. Why?
Right.
Why not represent women of all ages?
I'm down with that.
Yeah.
All right. Amber Valletta. Road recovery. I think we're going to shoot it back to Ben, and he's going to close this thing up.
Are we?
He's excited.
Are we done?
Thank you,
That's
guys.
it, Ben, and thank you, Amber, very much.
Yeah, Amber, thank you so much for being so open. There was a couple questions, if you don't mind, on the chat.
Okay.
And Don will tell you he's probably amazed that I've stayed this quiet.
Well, I know you made
with
some
a
noise during it.
With a microphone next to my face. But first of all, I want to thank you for the recovery community for being so open. I got sober at 21, and so we need more people like you to be advocates that it is possible. But Assassin Fashion asks, what's your morning ritual?
Oh, what's my morning ritual? Well, on a good day, a little snuggle with my man, hug and kiss, and then meditation together, and I pray, and then get up and shower and drink a cup of coffee. I always think about coffee the night before, and then get ready to go. Like, I work out every day, so that's kind of the usual.
All right. What recovery tools, steps, slogans, traditions, etc., have been helpful to you? Most helpful, sorry.
One of my favorites is Let Go and Let God. Also, another one that I really like is You're Big, I'm Small, when I'm just feeling overwhelmed. I love all the steps and traditions, but I really like step 1, 2, and 3 on a daily basis, and 4 to clean house, and obviously step 12, because without giving what you get freely, giving it away, there is no recovery, right?
Very good. Thank you. And you know, meetings and the 12-step world is obviously sort of shut down, and because of technology, people are still able to go to meetings, and that's what we're here for tonight, to raise money for kids. Not necessarily meetings, but so the work of road recovery can continue while people are in their homes. So there's a lot of synergies there, and if it weren't for technology, I would probably be batshit crazy right now without going to meetings. So thank you for your time, Amber. We really appreciate it. Don, you did okay.
Thanks.
And so we just end it with a little.
So go and donate and give your time, your money to Road Recovery.
Hello, everybody. My name is Doug E. Fresh, and I want to say that I'm a big supporter of Road Recovery. And one thing I want you to know in life, it's not the big things that people say, it's the little things that people do.
I joined Road Recovery, about 12 years ago. And a friend of mine, Scott, Dr. Biedenfeld, he introduced me to your dad, and I went down. I was a little nervous, and I met these kids, and we were in this recording studio, and they had a little meeting, and I introduced myself, and God, that was 12 years ago, and it's a wonderful organization. It's funded totally by donations, so I am asking you to everyone to chip in, whether it's $1 or whatever. We're not funded at all by the government or the city of New York. We rely solely on donations. So whatever you can do to help, you will be remembered, and we'll be very, very grateful.
Yo, DMC in a place to be. Please follow and support Road Recovery. Please follow and support Road Recovery.
Please follow and support Road Recovery.
Please follow and support Road Recovery.